What is going on, everyone? Jimmo back again with another exciting video, and we've got some fun stuff to talk about. But let's go over this job at hand here. We've got a Honda Pilot, I believe, is underneath all of that wrapping, where we'll be doing some paint work on the bumper and the fender. So we've got quite a bit of blend room on this bumper, so we're going to paint all of that primer and then leave that space where it's going to line up on the other side of the vehicle to that fender. So it'll be a factory base coat, so factory color, so it's not going to change anything, and then we can blend in. We'll have this matching because both sides of this bumper and fender will have paint on it, if you follow me. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to show you guys this SATA display they have. So this is the phaser they have on display at the SATA Canada Distribution Center, which I checked out the other day, and I wish I took a better video, but anyway, you can kind of see it's a cool little 3D hologram and some interesting things coming out of SATA Canada. They're talking about some cool training programs. They're building some paint booths there, and it's not just going to be so much selling guns. So I'm excited to see what they come out with out of that center, and still excited to get my hands on the phaser. I held it the other day, but I haven't actually had a chance to spray it. So it looks cool anyway, and definitely looks cool in that display. Alright, so we've got the Tecna base coat gun here, I believe, laying down the clear blending solution in our blend area. And then we switch back to our carbon fiber Wacom. It's just like a Frankenstein mash of guns coming in here. So we're going to switch up to the carbon fiber Wacom gun and apply our base coat over the primer. So on a job like this, it's pretty straightforward because we've got that much blend space. Now, if we were to try to get away with, say, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 inches of blend space on a color like this, you're going to typically end up with color to the edge of the panel, and it's going to throw off the color between the next whatever panel it's beside. And other things you'll run into on charcoal, well, metallic colors, certain types of metallics are more prone to it, is a haloing effect, which is basically the dry part of your spray is going to land differently. The metallics are going to land differently and reflect that edge, and you can see it. Now, it's not as much of an issue when you're putting down the wet bed here, so that the clear product that goes down first helps make sure that that is not it's a non-starter in the first place. But even if the color's off, if you have more room to blend it out, it's going to be less noticeable. Well, hopefully it will not be noticeable at all if it's done properly. So I'm still watching a bunch of comments coming in from my last video on the Instagram feed. I'm getting tagged by some people, so that's cool. Make sure you guys check out the Instagram feed because lots of interesting things I come across out there. Paint toys especially. And I've got a new paint toy coming my way soon, which I'm excited about. So I've got like mil gauges, which read the paint thickness. But this latest mil gauge I'm getting, it's a pretty pricey one. But what it's going to do is read the mil thickness on plastic as well. So the ones that do metal are quite a bit cheaper. But what we need ones for plastic for is the reverse sensors and such on the vehicles that get painted that go into the bumper. They're only supposed to have a certain film thickness on them. So this device is going to check the film build on those sensors after. So that'll be neat to have. I've come across all kinds of things. I'm always in and out of the BASF lab, and they've got all the cool stuff like the gloss meters and the big unit that simulates daylight. And actually, speaking of simulating daylight, there's another interesting toy from SATA, which I should have my hands on soon. It's like a sun gun, and I've seen it being demoed, and it did look quite a bit nicer than the 3M. I mean, I always found personally with the 3M sun gun, and even the other LED lights, that sometimes they threw you off more than they actually helped. And the color may have been there, then you put the sun gun on, all of a sudden it looks worse. So sometimes I find they send you down a long hole. So when you actually bring it outside and see it in the true daylight, you get a better sense of the color. But the SATA one anyway, there's absolutely no edge, so it's like a consistent light, and it looks pretty good. But knowing SATA, it's going to be pretty pricey. Okay, so let's get back to the job here, and let's see where we're at. We've got the base coat on. It's looking like it went down smooth. No trace of any blend. And now it's time to pull out the trusted Iwata WS400 to lay on some clear. Now, if you'll notice, I'm using the 3M PPS system on this again, and I was talking a little bit about the difference between the 3M and the SATA cups in the last video and why I like the SATA better. And it's because a lot of the cups look like the one on my gun right now. There's paint and stuff on it, and for me, I mean, if I was painting day in, day out, and this was, that was what I was still doing, then I would be ordering those hard cups constantly and changing them constantly. But that's not my call here. I show up, and whatever's there is what I work with. And this is what a lot, well, that's actually probably clean compared to a lot of the ones I see out in the field. So that's, the potential for dirt and stuff to fall off of that cup and land in the clear is, it could be disastrous in certain situations. But yeah, that's just one consideration and one key thing that I compare with the two cups and why I like the SATA ones better. Also, looking at this stand, you can tell this bumper stand owes nobody anything. It's been through quite a few paint jobs, and it might be time just to throw that one out and replace it altogether. Yeah, you can have stuff fly off of that and land in the paint too, so that's always something to be considerate of. And yeah, but other things you'll see on the Instagram feed is you'll see different types of stands that I come across and how they're working for people. The ones I really like, I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically they have 4 kind of arms that come out straight on them. You can put a hood on them and flip them up and around. You can do panels all in one shot, so you can hang doors on them. I've seen guys, they'll put a door, say if they have a new door, they'll put the new door on, and maybe they'll need to be blending the fender and the quarter, so they can do that all in one shot. If there's jamming, like a big quarter replacement job, they can do their cut-ins all at once, blend the outside, and then that's it. But oh, it looks like we're pretty well done here. So here's what we've got. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I remember this day because it was raining, obviously. And I remember thinking, man, you guys better love me for this, for standing out here and getting this final shot in the rain, destroying my cell phone in the process. But that's what I do for you guys. So there it is. And I guess that's going to be it for this time, except there is one thing I wanted to show you real quick, because I had a lot of people on Instagram asking me about this. Alright, so I have another hobby that preoccupies a lot of time and probably gets in the way of making videos for Refinish Network, and that is writing code and creating games. So I was just messing around for about 20 minutes and I threw this thing together, and I had a bunch of people, I just threw it on Instagram, and people were asking about it, and I was going to come up with a big story like, oh, it's a game where the painter has to run around and collect work orders before he can start painting because he doesn't know what the job is. And but anyway, I was just messing around. I wasn't planning on releasing anything for this. It was just a kind of a goof, but I am working on something that's even cooler, and that's going to be a VR type painting application. So if you've used the VR, like the Oculus Rift, I have an HTC Vive, and I was working actually on a hockey game because that's Canadian, and when I bought the HTC Vive, I realized, hey, there's no hockey game, and my son's like, hey, I really kind of want to just play hockey on this thing. So that's what I was working on. I'm going to put that one on hold, and I'm going to actually focus on a VR painting game, which could be kind of cool, and if nothing else, it'll give me a good working environment just to provide some instruction on certain things. But I'll keep you posted on that, but keep your eyes on the Instagram feed. And yeah, that's going to be it for this time. Thanks as always for watching, and we will see you next time.